The coming of Mashiach, Messiah, in Judaism is a very central and fundamental belief. Now, we have to have some kind of tool to know when a person comes up, a man, flesh and blood, comes up and says, I am Mashiach, I am Messiah. How do we know whether it's right or wrong? Imagine just a person walking in the Newark subway or whatever, screaming, I'm Mashiach, I'm Mashiach. We need some tools to know, to evaluate whether this person is right or not. So, the Jewish tradition, by looking up the different scriptures in the prophets, we gather certain things that this person has to do, has to fulfill certain conditions for us to know that he is Mashiach. And any person that does not fulfill those specific conditions, because they are mentioned in the prophecies that actually teach us that such a person should come, we're waiting for him to come, and we're waiting the whole day for him to come, etc. If this person does not fulfill those conditions, so we know he's not Mashiach. He can be a great guy, but he's not Mashiach that we are waiting. So what are those conditions? Basically, he has to be a descendant from the house of David, King David, and King Solomon also. That means a direct descendants in Judaism is not from the mother, it's from the father. Why? The mother gives Judaism to his son, daughter, whatever the case is. But the father gives the tribe in Judaism. Now, if we say that this person, man, flesh and blood, has to be a descendant from King David, that means that in the father descendancy, he has to be a son of somebody that is a son of somebody, a man that is a son of, etc., etc., King David and King Solomon. That's condition number one. He has to diligently observe the commandments of Torah, 613 commandments, whatever and wherever they apply in the specific moment that is coming in the specific place in the earth where he comes. And I'm not going to go into the details. There are certain commandments that apply in the land of Israel, certain commandments applied outside of the land of Israel, don't apply here, don't apply in the specific time of the year, in the specific time of life, and etc., etc. Without the details, he has to fulfill all those commandments as they are written in the written Torah and the oral Torah. The oral Torah is the tradition given from God to Moses at Mount Sinai. That is the explanation of the written Torah, and we should know that the written Torah without the oral Torah, it's impossible to understand. And the oral Torah without the written Torah doesn't make any sense, doesn't have any base at all. It's just made up by somebody, etc. So, if this person that is a descendant, etc., as explained, and he fulfills all the commandments that he can fulfill, that any human being can fulfill, etc., according to the place and the time, etc., according to the written Torah and according to the oral Torah, and he rectifies everybody to fulfill those commandments. That means that he actually urges everybody, and he teaches and he fights. This is what is written in the traditions. He fights the wars of God, whatever that means. Basically, it could mean that he actually defends Judaism at its core. That means every single drop of Judaism is not left out from this person. Then we can assume, if a person comes up and does this, we can assume he is Mashiach. Is he really Mashiach? Wait a second. If he succeeds in the above mentioned ideas, and he builds the temple in its place, that means not a temple in Uganda or a temple in South Argentina, he builds a temple in Jerusalem, in the Mount of the Temple, etc., and he gathers all the dispersed people of the Jewish people in the land of Israel, then we know this guy is definitely Mashiach. It's important to note that there are two stages, so to speak. First of all, we assume a certain person is Mashiach because he behaves like Mashiach has to behave. No miracles at all. Nobody mentioned any miracles. To the point, as Rabbi Akiva, we're talking about the year 120 of the Common Era, he thought that a specific person that did not do any miracles was Mashiach, was a person of flesh and blood, and this guy ended up killed in battles, whatever, so he was not Mashiach. The point is that we're not expecting the miracles. We're not asking this guy, perform a miracle, take up the subway and put it in the air. No. If he fulfills the conditions mentioned before, we can assume he is Mashiach. Then, if he finishes the job, so to speak, again, building the temple and gathering all the Jewish people from all the earth, etc., so we can definitely call this guy Mashiach. And this person, his function in life, so to speak, is to improve the entire world, Jews and non-Jews, motivating everybody, all the nations also to serve just one God, the true God, so to speak, as it is written in Zephaniah, that's a prophet also, in chapter 3, verse 9, I will transform the peoples to a purer language, that they will call upon the name of God and serve Him with one purpose, everybody together. Then that's the Messianic era. Are there going to be changes in the world or not? So it's a whole argument between our sages themselves. Some sages say that nothing is going to change. We're just going to see the same world we know, but improved, so to speak, as mentioned before. Some people say changes are going to happen. Some people say there are going to be stages. In the first stage, nothing's going to change. Then things are going to change. In any case, this is the Mashiach Jewish people are waiting, and not just someday is going to come. We should wait every day. We should wait every single moment of every day, etc., because otherwise, the purpose of creation is not fulfilled. We're missing something. We're lacking something. So these are the conditions of Mashiach. I hope that each one of us are going to be able to see the presence of God, are going to merit to see the presence of God with the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days.